Hey guys, so I'm feeling better tonight. I'm going to start off a video talking about emotional regulation and how your thought processes control that a lot and bringing yourself back from that. Because that's something that I've really worked on the past couple of years, especially the past year. Um, so I got up this morning. The weather was pretty cold here. It like did a frost overnight. The wind was blowing and everything, and I thought like I have to walk to the store to get toilet paper. Which then reminded me again of my car is still broke. And for those of you who have been there, it's like very hard to pull yourself out of mindsets when you feel like it's still happening to you, or you're still feeling the ramifications. So this brought me back to, months ago I had decided to leave my job because I felt like I didn't have a support system there. And I felt like it was just getting harder and harder to try to help people when I felt like I had no support system doing it. Because I would see people in trauma. I used to work with the homeless, and I would see people going through, they need stuff, and I can't provide it. And their needs are, right now because they're outside and they're experiencing things. So my accident happened like the night before my last day. And then I thought, and because I had went out, I was like, I need to get out. I need to meet people. All of my relationships were attached to the person that I was with. And then when we broke up, all those people left me. So I had not made, those friendships. And so I had been reaching out and doing that here and there over the course of a couple years and trying to find like-minded people and trying to find people that I clicked with. And it just seemed like, I don't get along with this person, or this person just wants something, from me, or, just those things where you feel like I was just like, am I too old? Did I miss out on this part? Do I not know what to say to people? Not knowing where to go because I'd lived in this town for years but not really been out that much. So then I thought, that really had a negative impact on me. And then I got a concussion and I was bruised up and had to recover from that. And then I had some personal stuff that happened and had somebody that said that they were going to help me, and then they walked out again. And so this morning, here it is, almost the new year, and I'm like, one of my issues has always been like not asking for help. And I thought, like, here I have been asking for help from the person around me for a very long time, from my work for a very long time, not getting it. So I'm like, okay, I try to work on that and I ask for help. Like, why am I not getting the help? And so, like I said, this morning I got up and I was like, oh man, I forgot to get toilet paper when I was at the store. So now I'm going to have to get all bundled up in my layers and go walk to the store. And, so I did that and I got out and I'm walking, and I had to walk up to the gas station first. And I get, out on the road, and then I'm like, oh man, I forgot my purse because I was busy getting my headphones on and my earmuffs and all that stuff. And so then I got mad at myself and had to turn around and come back to the house, get my purse, and go back out and tell myself, like, it's okay. Sometimes you forget things. And so I'm walking and I'm just, and then I'm thinking about like the people that I helped and how my goal was I was going to take a month off. And after I quit my job, and then, help the people in the ways that I wanted to on my terms. But now I couldn't do that because of my car. And then I was like, I've called so many mechanics, and the last person, that came and looked at it, took pictures and said, yeah, they could do it. And it's been 2 weeks, and I tried calling them and their voicemail box is full. And then I was like, maybe something happened. Maybe it's the holidays. Maybe they're busy. But still, I'm asking for help. Like, I have the money to fix my car if I could get somebody to fix my car. And so it just put me in this negative mind frame. And then I'm walking down to the store and it's cold. And, I'm just getting more and more upset at myself and then upset at the person who said they would help me. I'm thinking, like, years ago, I was in this position walking around and you said you would help me if you were there. And now you're like a couple miles away and you're not helping me. Like, my situation. And so I just kept going this back and forth. I was like, okay, listen to some music. And then realized, like, a lot of my playlist is a lot of sad songs. And so then I was like, okay, fast forward through that. And it just seemed like such a struggle for me to keep bringing myself back to, it's okay, you have a home. Once you get done walking, you're going to go inside your home. It's okay. You know how to walk. You've done this before. You're resilient. But then it just becomes such a mental struggle sometimes because you can't help but feel your emotions, especially when stuff's happening to you and when you're still enduring the consequences of it. And then, then there's things you can't control. You can't control if somebody's going to help you. You can't control, if whatever's going on with the mechanic. Like, you can't control the other things other than yourself. So you have to keep bringing it back to yourself. And that's been something that I struggle with a lot. I know that I've studied myself enough and done enough self-reflection and been like, I have a low frustration tolerance. I know that. Like, I'm so sensitive to my environment, to things going on around me, to my own feelings, all of that my frustration tolerance is low. Well, I would say it's like I can take it and take it and take it and take it until I reach that point, and then it just seems like every little thing. Now the cat's meowing. It's like she was quiet for forever, and then as soon as I started making the video, it's like they know. Either one of them. It's like they know, like, oh, she's trying to record something. Now we're going to make noise, or now we're going to get into something. So I don't know what she's doing. She's just sitting in the middle of the floor meowing. But so anyway, I thought, I need to make a video because this is a lot of a struggle with things like that, with regulating our emotions and, regulating our thoughts, regulating those negative thoughts that come in, those things that keep us chained to past events or even to, current things that we're experiencing. There's so much negativity in the world right now. There's so many negative viewpoints and negative feelings, and a lot of people living in fear or anger or something that you can't help but respond to it. And this was part of me diving into astrology, was looking up my birth chart, looking up where my signs are, what's going on. And that was halfway through the walk. I was like, oh yeah, even though my ascending is in Sagittarius, which is now, and that's supposed to be your rising. And that's how you present yourself to the world. That's where you start off, and I'm like, I have nothing in that. And then the next one I have nothing. And the next one I have nothing. I have nothing until like April. And then when about April rolls around is like when the childhood wound stuff shows up. And, and then I was like, no wonder I get depressed during, winter time. No wonder, the if they call it seasonal depression. No wonder I'm doomy and gloomy because it's been overcast a lot. No wonder I'm down because it's cold, and I'm thinking like, man, here my car's been sitting in my driveway for months, and I've asked and asked, and I've reached out, and I've called mechanics, and I've done all the things, and it just seems like, I always joke about, I said, I should have been a mechanic from how many times I've had car issues throughout my life. Nobody ever taught me about cars. And it was very much that whole, guys know about cars, not girls. And I've just learned along the way a lot of stuff. But I always joked about, like, I always wanted to build a car or something, and then I thought, is this the universe's, like, sick joke about, here you go, work on your car? And I was like, not this one. That's not what I'm talking about. I wanted to, like, build an old car. So it brought back my humor to, you know, sometimes life works in mysterious ways. Sometimes we have to bring out the humor. Sometimes things are so bad we could laugh. We just gotta laugh at them. I think that's why, like, South Park and things like that, and The Simpsons, and, they throw humor on stuff because sometimes that's what you need to make it through. And so on the way there, the gas station attendants know me well enough where they're like, let me double bag this for you since you're walking. And always say, have a nice day. And that's one thing that I had learned over the past several years is, sometimes people just need to hear, have a nice day. Sometimes people just need a smile or, a compliment. And it's all that energy that we give out, of sometimes saying a positive thing to somebody else can bring it back to you, that they say something positive back. And then the store across the road, I was like, they know me, so they're bundling up the stuff and double bagging it. And, and I'm like, well, my general surroundings are really nice. And, they know me. It's not like I'm invisible. And it's not so bad. It's not like I live 60 miles away from, I always have tried to keep optimism about things could be worse. And a lot of times working with the homeless, that's what would humble me so much, is like, I have so much more than a lot of people have out there. I have a place. I have money. I have, belongings. I have pets where, they don't talk back. I mean, cats, sometimes I think they do just by their looks, but I'm like, I have things that I can do. So I came back. I decided, okay, I'm all in my head and stressing out and still, frustrated over, like, I'm asking for help. One of my issues has been not asking for help, and that's what I've been doing for a very long time, and it doesn't seem to be showing up. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll feel better. Let me start the laundry. Let me, do the dishes. Let me put on a podcast or some music. Let me think about something, again, creative that I can do, something artistic. That's something I've been trying to work on with the visualization. Like, I can't visualize things, like pull up images. So I was like, let me try to do some of that, because that seems to be helping some. Having things in the same place and them not moving around a lot. I think maybe that's something that has to do with visualization, is if, like, your life is constantly changing and things are coming and going, maybe it does something to your visualization. But so I got home, I unbundled, I did the dishes and started the laundry and kind of organized again a little bit, and felt like, okay, my space is calmer again. So then I was like, what should I make a video about? That's one thing I've been working on. And YouTube and making videos and being a creator and all that is so much. It's like, there's so much information. And for me, technology is so intimidating. So there's so many things that, like, I'm like, yes, I'm excited. And then I start doing it and I'm like, now I feel bad because I have to keep pausing the video and taking notes. And then this feels like school. And, I don't understand everything. Like I had gotten a computer that has so much extra stuff on it. I don't know how many times I've X'd out of things. And not saved it and been like, I don't know, it's so frustrating. And then have to laugh at myself, catch myself in that, like, don't get mad, don't give up. It's okay. Like, you weren't raised with this stuff, you weren't updated on this stuff. Everybody starts somewhere. My thing was thinking that I had to know everything before I started, and then I was like, no, I'm just going to start, and I can learn along the way. But sometimes what happens is we don't learn things until after we've already done something, and then I'm like, man, that would have been nice to know, universe. Like, thanks for that information, like 2 hours too late. But then keep bringing myself back to, it's not too late. Like, don't quit counting yourself in the years of age that you are. Quit counting yourself out. Quit being mean to yourself. Quit beating yourself up over stuff. Quit worrying about things that you can't control. Just, it's like you do that positive self-talk for you that squashes that negative self-talk. And I think for some of us, when we get that feeling of feeling like so alone and isolated and kind of on our own, that self-sufficiency can make you feel good for a while, but then sometimes it becomes overwhelming, where you feel like, I need some help. Can somebody help me figure out this computer stuff? Can somebody, help explain this? Like, can somebody do it with me to show me? And I know that's something I struggle with, is like, I'm like, show me. And YouTube will do that. But then I get very frustrated on, okay, what box, and what do I check, and what do I do here? And one thing is, like, everything keeps changing. So by the time you learn something, it's like updating again. When it comes to algorithms and stuff, it's updating. And this is the thing now. This is what's trending now. And I've never made, and I said I wasn't going to make this about how many views or how many, like, that's not the intent. The intent is to share what I've been through or currently going through for anybody else out there that might be experiencing it. Saying, like, I get it. Here, let me share, some of what I'm going through or some of what I've experienced, because when I felt that way, or when I've been through that and I felt alone, it didn't make me feel good. It was much easier knowing that somebody else understands. But at the same time, I've got that mind frame of, like, this is what I'd like to do. I would like to use some of the things that I've been through, some of the things that I've learned in order to help people. That's what I did with my job. That people would ask me, well, how do you know this? Or how can you do this? And I would say, I'm flexible. I'm adaptable. I'm, a go-getter. I'm perseverant. I'm resilient. I'm, knowing those strengths in me. And the only reason I got those is because of the weaknesses of when I felt helpless, when I felt, certain ways. Then I was like, but we keep going. We try again. We learn from whatever that past was, and we do it better this time, or we do it in a different way this time. And so it's almost like I'm experiencing some of the things, not to the degree that some of my clients have, but I'm experiencing some of those same feelings. And sometimes it makes me feel angry or negative because I feel like I'm going through it again. Because I feel like, 5 years ago, I had a vehicle that had mechanical issues and the engine was gone. And it was the same thing where I was like, I'm asking for help and then not getting any. Or I'm asking for help and it seems like inconveniences. And so I'll walk. And I did. And I would listen to music. And I would go to work and back and tell myself, like, I can do this. I'm fully capable of doing this. And then right now, some of those same feelings coming up where I'm like, man, here I am 5 years later, walking around, trying to go down to the store, trying to go to get the things that I need. That if I need toilet paper, I got to bundle myself up and walk to the store. And the mind can do things where you think like, I'm back there where I was. I'm back there in the same place, and pull you to those past feelings, those past circumstances. But then I had to keep bringing myself back out, being that person that I was to some of my clients, telling myself, you can do this. You're self-sufficient. You're a go-getter. You're perseverant. You keep going, because in the long run, it will teach you that you can do things, that you're fully capable. And sometimes it might be afterwards you reward yourself, or like I came home and I was like, oh, remember that bag of candy you had over there? Maybe have some of those pieces of candy because you did a good job. It's us reparenting ourselves and being that kind person to ourselves that we need, so that we don't stick in those negative mind frames and those negative feelings and take it out on other people or take it out on ourselves. Because if I would have stayed in that negative mind frame, I could have been snappy to one of the cashiers, or I could have stayed in that, resentful feeling towards somebody that I thought, that told me that they would help me, and then they didn't. I could have, blamed somebody else, something like that. Sorry, guys, my cat just ran across, like, did that little zoomy thing where, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, what do they see a ghost? Like, what's going on? Or did she get into some catnip? Who knows? But I'm sure you guys can hear. Come here. Well, come on. I don't know what's up with her. Come on. Come on. And see, that even talking about my cat, like, that used to get to me when I was like right in the middle of something and the cats would jump up. It's like I would try to chill and be relaxed, and they'd jump up and it would startle me, almost like it ruined the chill vibe that I had. And then now I'm like, they're just gonna do it. They're cats. Like, you can't control the cats. You ever tried to control a cat? So I don't know, maybe they just want attention since I was gone a while, and then I was busy cleaning and stuff. But I just wanted to let the people out there know that, if you feel like you're still going through something, you're still enduring some of the stuff that is still affecting you, to, bring yourself back. A lot of times you have to be that kind friend to yourself. You have to be that best friend to yourself. You have to be that kind parent to yourself. You have to be the one to tell yourself to keep going, that you're capable, because if you leave it up to other people and they don't do it for you, then you're just going to be disappointed, or angry or resentful or something. But if you're that to yourself first, then it's like, it doesn't matter. You realize, like, things are going to happen. You can't control everything in life. All you can do is control yourself and keep bringing yourself back out. So I hope everybody's having a good night, and I'm going to make some other videos on some of those same topics. I have several different ones, and a lot of this is just self-realization, doing that self-reflect. See, now she hopped back down again and she's meowing again. Maybe she's looking for Pippin. I think sometimes she teases them. Like, they act like enemies, but I'm like, girl, you teased him like you wanted to play, and then he comes up and wants to play, and then you swat him in the face. That's just, I don't know. Maybe they have completely different personalities, and they just test each other. Who knows? Because he was, you know, teasing her last night, doing some of the same stuff. So, and sometimes if you need a laugh, go watch some funny cat videos, because they're hilarious if you just sit back and watch them. So have a good night, and I'll chat with you guys later. Bye.